Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of SacTown Movie Buffs. Once again, I'm Kier, and this is Jason. And today we are back with another one of our top 10 of the year series. We're moving right along. We're currently on our top 10 films of 2006. Yeah. So this will be the first half of our show. We'll redo our number 10 through number 6. And then we'll do another second show, within the next week or so. We'll do our 5 through 1 with our honorable mentions. Also, with the first half of the show, which we'll get into in just a second, we also do challenge films for each other, where Jason recommended a film for me that I had to watch and review, and I recommend a film for Jason that he hadn't seen before, also that he had to watch and review.
From 2006.
From 2006, yes. In case you didn't figure that part out. Well, I say we just get right into it. I'll go ahead and start with my challenge film that you gave to me. Right. So let's just get right into it. And that film was going to be Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. So this is basically kind of a mockumentary. So it basically takes place in a universe where Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers are all real serial killers, real people. And there's basically a film crew that is looking for of young, film directors, film crew. They basically want to do a documentary on the next big serial killer that is basically around, who happens to be Leslie Vernon. So, Leslie has kind of a similar story where, he drowned as a kid and then came back and is now gearing up for a serial killer. So what they do is these three filmmakers basically go and find Leslie Vernon and basically interview him about, his the reasons for his serial killing and, what his plan is and that kind of stuff. And so they basically kind of like follow him around with a camcorder, as he's preparing and he's stalking his prey and talking about he's like, oh yeah, these are the group of kids that I'm looking at right here. He's like, so you got to look for the main girl that's the virgin. You got to look for the group of kids that are around, and the ones that are a little more sexually active, and you get them all together, you get them partying, and then you start killing them one by one, that kind of stuff, and so so it's a comedy, but there are some very scary moments, especially towards the end, that's the general sense. I don't get too much into spoilers with it, but I enjoyed it, man. I had a great time watching this one. I enjoyed the heck out of it. It was fun. It was funny. It's satire, of course. So, but it's really, really funny. And the main guy, that plays Leslie Vernon is just hilarious. Because he's really like goofy like and not really serious. He's just like kind of jokey like, you know what I mean? And so it's just like really funny, like the things that he does. And there's even like his own what does he call the guy that's the psychiatrist that like in Michael Myers. I forget what he calls that guy. I
don't remember. Like
he calls him something, but Captain Ahab. I got my Ahab. So he had his own guy that was like a psychiatrist, is like following him around.
His
own doctor. Yeah, and then and then they actually go and they meet with another like retired like serial killer.
Yeah, I love that part.
Yeah, the guy that's like showing him the ropes.
Yeah.
So it was just a great film. I highly enjoyed it. A great one, man. So yeah, it was really fun. I would probably give this one. I'd probably give this one actually probably a solid 3.5 out of 5. So yeah, definitely good one, man. That was a great choice.
Cool, man. Cool. Yeah, cool. I'm glad. I thought you would like it, but I didn't know how much you would like it.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I love that movie. He's doing the calisthenics, warming up for the chase.
Right.
He's like the branches in the tree. So that
he's like, man, you got to stay in good shape. You got to be fast. You know what I mean? Because you have to like walk. You can't run after people. You have to walk out of people, and they're running past you. But you just got to be able to catch them.
Yeah.
So no, I enjoyed it. It was a great one, man.
Good. I'm glad. Yeah, that's a fun. Cool. I love a good mock documentary.
For sure. And then you had a challenge film.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is Gridiron Gang.
Yeah. Dude, I wish I could be as enthusiastic as this one if you were about my choice. This movie was average. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like I didn't dislike it. I
Right.
didn't hate it or anything like that. But you know, for one thing, like I'm not really into sports. You know, I'm not a sports. I don't watch
Right.
sports, but I
Yeah.
do like a lot of movies about sports. You know, I love Friday Night Lights, and I love Any Given Sunday, and Remember the
Right.
Titans. So it's not that's football that I didn't like about it.
Right.
To me, it was, you know, it's based on a true story about this like juvenile, like a detention, like I don't know, like a reform school
Right.
detention camp for teenagers who, you know, at-risk teenagers. And he puts together a football team for them to give them some focus. And he makes a lot of strides, and that's super honorable. And I found out afterwards that it's based on not just a true story, but it's based on a documentary about the true story, which is apparently really hard to find because I couldn't find it. It's not streaming anywhere. Netflix, I'm one of the few people that still has a Netflix DVD subscription, but they didn't have it either. So I can't stream it. I can't rent the DVD. There's no stores to go to, not that they would have it anyway, but I bet I would really like that documentary. And you see parts of the documentary during the ending credits. So I bet that story is really interesting. This movie, it's fine. I think The Rock is really good. I guess it's one of the first movies that he really, because I was reading some of the old reviews for it, and they were all like, oh, he actually can act. He actually can act. Like, they're surprised. I mean, everybody now knows that The Rock is like incredibly charismatic, incredibly talented. But back then it was like news, I guess. So like, he's really good. He's a likable actor. He's a talented actor. But I mean, the story was just like, it hit so many of the check marks for like the inspirational movie that it just started to feel like almost to one point like it was written by a computer, that was like assembling, inspirational movie. Like I knew like everything that was going to happen pretty much. And sometimes I don't mind that. Sometimes if I'm enjoying a movie and I know everything that's going to happen, I don't mind because I'm having a good time. But for me, this movie was like, it's over 2 hours long. It's about football, which doesn't automatically draw me in. It has to be there has to be more to it for me to be interested. But yeah, I thought it was okay. It wasn't like it was. I didn't love it, man. I'm sorry. I don't know if you're a big fan of it or not.
But, I liked it. I didn't love it. I mean, it's not in my top 10. But like I said, when we do these challenge films, I got to go with what you haven't seen. So, that or something that I saw that I didn't even like. So, I mean, it's nothing that I would normally recommend somebody to go watch. Like, oh, you got to go check out Gridiron Gang. But, when I'm looking and it's one of the 5 films that I've seen that you haven't seen, you're kind of leaving me with no choice. So, I'm
glad I watched it. It was always kind of on my to watch list, but I thought it, despite being super noble, I would love to see the documentary based on the true story. This movie was a C. It was a 2.5 out of 5 for me. So, sorry, man.
Fair enough.
Thanks for letting me watch it, though.
Cool.
Or forcing me to watch it anyway.
Cool. Yeah. All right. Well, cool. Well, with that said, let's get into our real top 10 for 2006. So you want to go ahead and kick it off with your number 10?
Sure. My number 10 is a movie called The Prairie Home Companion. So I really love this movie. I know you haven't seen it. Probably, right?
No.
Yeah. It is. I'm pretty sure it's Robert Altman's last film. I'm a big Robert Altman fan. I love Nashville, Shortcuts, The Player. I love not all of his movies, but a lot of his movies. And this was the last one he did. It's based on the Garrison Keillor radio series. I'm not sure. I think it was on NPR, and I don't listen to the radio all that much, to be honest. But I don't know the original show, but I really love this movie. It's got a lot of great music, a lot of great performances. Kevin Kline, Lily Tomlin, Meryl Streep, Woody Harrelson, John C. Reilly, Tommy Lee Jones, Lindsay Lohan, before she kind of went,
crazy
sideways. But it's a really enjoyable movie. A lot of good music, just a good, fun film. Good ensemble.
Cool.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, so I don't have much of an opinion on it, but awesome. So, cool. Great choice, I guess.
Thank you.
My number 10 is actually going to be Lucky Number 11. One that I always just enjoyed. This one also has a lot of stars in it. It's got Josh Hartnett, Morgan Freeman, Ben Kingsley, Lucy Liu, Stanley Tucci, Bruce Willis. So it's got a full all-star cast, and it's basically kind of an action comedy about like basically Hitman. Josh Hartnett's kind of a hitman. Bruce Willis is a hitman, and it's got a lot of twists and turns. So it's a really kind of it's really a film that you kind of just have to see because it has a lot of different elements about basically there's two different like big factions where like Morgan Freeman, Ben Kingsley are like rivaling like mob bosses, and and Bruce Willis and Josh Hartnett's characters are basically kind of caught in the middle of the two rivaling bosses, basically. But just a really fun action, great comedy, fun story, and like I said, it's got a lot of good twists and turns. So if you haven't seen Lucky Number 7, then I definitely recommend you check that one out. And that's my number 10.
Cool. Yeah, I remember. I don't remember a whole lot about it. I only saw it once, and it was in 2006, in the theater. Sorry. I don't remember loving it, but I do remember, the cast is great, of course, and I do remember being taken by surprise a few times. So, yeah cool. Good one.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, moving on to number 9.
My number 9, I don't own, so I think you have the poster ready for it. There we go.
There it is.
Yeah. So this is a great movie for anybody who likes movies that are character-driven, dialogue-driven. So it's filmed by Kelly Reichardt, who's one of my favorite filmmakers. She also made Wendy and Lucy. What was it? Meek's Cutoff. Just a lot of really good movies for people that like the quieter stuff sometimes. So this movie is basically about these two friends who go on a camping trip, who have been friends for since they were kids. They've been friends their whole life, but they haven't seen each other. We all have friends that we grew up with that we just kind of went separate ways because we got along when we were kids, but you become different people and you just drift away. That's this kind of case. Like one of them is kind of the guy up top there is kind of like a family. He's got a family. He's got a good job, desk job. Whereas the other guy is kind of never really fit into society. He's kind of a hippie, anti-establishment kind of thing. So they got along as kids, but they went completely different ways, and they're trying to have a camping trip together. So you can imagine that it's a little awkward, to put it mildly. But I think it's a really great movie. The dialogue is great. She doesn't spoon feed you. You know so much about these guys' relationship just by the way they talk. And I've definitely had it took me back to a lot of the friends that I really got along with. I was really close to when I was younger, or even in high school, that just wound up being completely different people than the person I grew up into. And what would it be like if I tried to go on a camping trip with that person? It'd probably be great, and then not great, and then hopefully great again, before not seeing each other again for another 10 years. So It's a really, really good movie. But again, you have to have patience because not a lot happens unless you take into account the ramifications for the characters and their lives, because it's pretty intense if you look at it that way, but it's not like a action movie or anything like that. So yeah, great movie.
Cool.
Yeah.
Haven't seen it again, so like most of the films that Jason brings in. So yeah, I can't comment too much on it, but yeah, sounds like a lovely, fine story.
Yeah.
Really heartwarming and touching.
It's not a heartwarming movie.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. Cool. My number 9 is definitely an action movie, very violent. Everybody's seen it, so I don't have to spend a whole lot of time on it, which is going to be 300. So obviously takes place during the the 300 battle, the famous battle, and with the Romans and that sort of stuff, and just it's like visually just a really just the Spartans, this is just like a really just visually masterpiece in my opinion. The visuals on it are just so like amazing. I just love that grainy look and the feel of it and the action and just the there's a lot of just so much bloodletting in it. Basically these 300 guys that are going after or taking on this entire empire that's trying to take them over, and so just a really, really, really good just just bloody bloodbath film, with big battle scenes and you know what I mean. It's just a really just cool, awesome film in my opinion. I know it does get some flack. Some people find it to be somewhat. Some people think it's somewhat racist in some ways. I've heard some things. Yeah. I didn't get that from there, but I definitely know that some people have said that about it in recent years. But I love it. I think it's a great action film. Definitely, if you like big battles and lots of killing and that kind of stuff, and then I definitely urge you to check this one out. So that's my number 9, 300.
Cool. Yeah, I like that movie a lot. I saw it at the IMAX, so it was pretty incredible.
Yeah, visually. Oh yeah, the IMAX. I can imagine it's yeah.
Yeah, I think Zack Snyder gets a lot of flack for, people always say, because his movies are very visual, then it's style over substance. But I'm not somebody who thinks that style is bad. I think style is the substance sometimes. And I think that's the case here because, it really does a great job of creating this kind of really immersive environment that it never feels real.
No, feels not at all. Yeah, it feels it's very cartoonish in the way that it's shot and the way that it looks. Yeah. But you go in there, that within the first 5 minutes of watching the film that it's going to have that kind of cartoonish feel to it. The looks and the visuals and that kind of stuff. But it's definitely not. I hate to say check your brain out the door, but it's definitely one of those films that just is a visual, masterpiece in terms of the visuals of it. But yeah, you can argue that the story is. But the story is also a story that's been told for, centuries as well. So it's not like it's a completely making up story, but obviously he took many liberties with the story, of course. So
yeah. I mean, it's not a movie, frankly, where the story and the characters are the most important thing. It's
the way not at all.
The way it feels. And I think, I think it works really well that way. Yeah.
Cool.
Good choice.
Thanks, sir. Yeah. Number 8.
Number 8 for me is a movie called Half Nelson. So this is a movie starring Ryan Gosling as a high school teacher who is addicted to crack. So this is one of the first movies that Ryan Gosling did where it showed that he's like trying to like be something other than that guy from The Notebook, basically. It's kind of the same thing. He's going through. He went through kind of the same thing as, he got kind of like Leonardo DiCaprio. When he got famous from being in Titanic, and he tried to go the opposite direction as hard as he could afterwards. That's kind of like what I feel Ryan Gosling did because he became like this heartthrob from The Notebook, and after that he tried to go as far to the other direction as possible. And I always like it when somebody does that, try to play with expectations and not just be typecast like that. So it's a really powerful movie, really well acted, really well directed, and just another really good character study, I think. Powerful movie. I recommend it.
Cool. I remember liking it. I haven't seen it since 2006 probably, but I do remember liking it and it being a good story. So yeah, definitely a good choice. I don't remember a whole lot about it other than, like I said, his addiction, and then he's like a high school teacher or something like that, or some sort of so that's pretty much all I really remembered about it, but I do remember liking it and thinking it was good. So
cool.
Good choice.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. So Jason's gonna do all the indies. I'm gonna do all the big budget blockbusters. And no difference with my number 8. So my number 8 is actually going to be Talladega Nights. Everybody knows the story, Ricky Bobby. So just a fun comedy. Once again, it was during that time period where it had all those guys. Will Ferrell, which is the biggest star on the stage. You know what I mean? But this was just a really really fun and funny movie. I just enjoy it. I'm not a big NASCAR or race car guy, but I loved that it was kind of making fun of NASCAR, but it was also just a really, really funny and fun film. You know what I mean? So obviously, if you don't know the story, he's a race car driver, and his best friend is also a race car driver, and he's always wanting to be first and never wanting his friend to be first, and then his friend kind of becomes the first place driver, and that causes a lot of conflict, and it's just a really just funny, wacky, goofy movie. So I just love it. I always get a kick out of it. So it's one that if you just need a quick laugh and and enjoy comedy, then definitely recommend Talladega Nights.
Cool. Yeah, I love Talladega Nights. It's super funny. I think it gets ignored a lot because everybody talks about Anchorman and Step Brothers and Elf and all those movies, but nobody ever really brings that one up anymore. It seems like, to me anyway. And I think it's one of the best for sure. One of my favorite Will Ferrell movies, definitely.
Yeah.
And I haven't watched it in a really long time because that reminds me, I actually lent it to my mom. And it wasn't too long. It was a fairly new release when I lent it to my mom, and I have never gotten it back. I should probably get that and watch it again one day.
Your mom stole your movie.
She did. She just conveniently forgot to give it back to me, I guess. But I would love to watch it again.
That's how it always works. That's how you always end up losing films. It's always you lent it to somebody and they conveniently never give it back to you.
You forget about it because you don't want to pressure them to give it back to you, but then you forget about it. So
exactly. And then it's 8 years later, and then I can't remember who actually had that film anymore.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm on to you, Mom.
Yeah, I'm on to you. Give me back my film. Cool. Number 7.
Number 7 for me is The Prestige. So this is one that I liked when I saw it in the theater, but then when I watched it again, I really, really liked it. And I find that's true a lot of times with this is Christopher Nolan. Of course, everybody knows Christopher Nolan. This is one of his lesser known films. This one is one of his few films that didn't, make, $1 billion at the box office. Well, I guess Tenet's not going to make $1 billion, but that's for different reasons.
Right.
Probably. But this is a really, really complicated, dense, confusing movie, like all of his movies, honestly. But it's about the general story is it's about two dueling magicians, I guess you could say.
Right.
Christian Bale and, what's his name? Hugh Jackman, of course. But it's a really interesting mystery. It's a really unique movie, and it's one of those, like a lot of Christopher Nolan movies, that the more you watch it, the more it kind of starts to go together, but there's still a lot of mystery in there too. So it's definitely one of his less audience-friendly movies, but I think that's to its credit. I think it's not the kind of movie that would make $1 billion like Inception or Interstellar or the Batman trilogy. It's definitely more on a smaller scale, but it's still very Christopher Nolan. It's somewhere between Memento and, The Dark Knight, I guess you could say. So I love that movie, and I've grown to love it more over time. So that's my number 7.
Cool. Yeah, I didn't really care for that one as much personally. It was a little too weird for me, and I just didn't get it, I guess. And it was also a year where there were 2 magician films came out that year. And I'll be talking about that one probably in the next show. So I there were people that I personally knew people that were like on one side or the other, and I was on the other side with the other magician film. So this was one that I just pretty much, I watched it and didn't care for too much. So I just kind of moved on. So just continued living my life.
All right, well, good luck.
Cool. Well, my number 7 is going to be The Foot Fist Way, another comedy, more of an indie comedy, but was produced by Will Ferrell and Adam McKay. Actually, this one stars Danny McBride as a karate instructor. Is it karate or taekwondo? I can't remember now. Karate, yeah, it was karate. It's a comedy. He's a karate instructor, and basically he has his idol, who is like 6th degree black belt in karate or whatever, that he wants to take like his students to go meet and see on like a road trip or whatever, and basically meets his idol, and tries to get him to like come to his like dojo or whatever and do a performance, which he invites him to. And obviously when his idol gets there, he turns out that his idol is a complete jerk and just really kind of bullies him and is trying to mess around with his wife. And it's a comedy though. It's not serious. It's a very funny film. So yeah, it's just a really, really funny film. But, also Danny McBride's character is not exactly, the most sympathetic guy. You don't necessarily always feel sorry for him either, because he's kind of a jerk too. And I mean, the thing about Danny McBride is I love him as an actor, but if I'm being 100% honest, he almost plays the same character in almost everything that he does. You know, he's always kind of like that loud, even when if he's like, not the bad guy or whatever, but he's always kind of like that loud, brash guy that's always like swearing and using profanity and always kind of like bending the rules in some kind of way. He kind of almost always plays that kind of character, I feel like. And a lot, even in the shows that he does, he plays that character, you know what I mean? Like Vice Principals and the Gemstones, if you've ever seen that one. And then
I keep forgetting about it.
That one's hilarious. Yeah, it's hilarious. I love that. I think I like that better than Eastbound and Down. And Eastbound and Down, where he always kind of plays like this really like just loud and just kind of gets in his own way. You know what I mean? Like just so full of himself kind of character. And that's kind of how he is in this film also. But you do feel a little bit of sympathy for him, but not a whole lot. So, yeah. But I love this film, The Fistfoot Away. So definitely check that one out.
Yeah, I love it. I would love to watch it again because I've only seen it that one time. But I remember really liking it, and it's what put Danny McBride on the map because I'd never seen it before, that movie. And Jody Hill, the director, is also the same person who went on. So they're a good team, obviously.
Yeah, and he's also the one that does like the Vice Principals, I think, and some of those other shows. So yeah, for sure.
I love Eastbound and Down, and I loved Vice Principals. But I keep forgetting to watch the Gemstones one. And,
it's only one season so far, but or is it two?
I think I
don't remember, but. Yeah, you would definitely love that one. That show is hilarious. I think it's better than Vice Principals and Eastbound and Down, in my opinion, just from the first season anyway. So, but I do too. I love them both, but I think this one just kind of kicks it up a notch because there's so many twists and turns with that crazy family. So
that's interesting. I'll definitely have to put that to the top.
Yeah, because those other ones are more focused on Down was more focused mostly on him. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? His whatever he was trying to do. Vice Principal is mostly about the two of them, but this one's about his whole family. You know what I mean? They're all wacky, you know what I mean? And they're all kind of share the screen time on there. So so I think you'll definitely like that one if you get a chance to check that out. But also check out The Fifth Way if you haven't seen that also.
Yes. With the humble beginnings. Yeah.
Yes. Humble beginnings, yes.
Yeah.
Number 6, man.
Number 6 is probably the first one on my list that a lot of people have seen, and that is Mission Impossible 3. So this is my Blu-ray set of all 6 Mission Impossible movies to date. But Mission Impossible 3 is the one that came out in 2006, and I know a lot of people tend to skip over 3. It feels like to me. But I think 3 is actually my favorite. I think of all, I love that series. It's by far my favorite action series. I like it more than the Bonds. I like it more than the Bournes. I like it more than the Fast and the Furious. This is like my action series. So I just love the variety that most of them are by different filmmakers, and both of them have totally different feels, and they all have different styles, and there's real variety. It's not like the same thing over and over. I love part 3. Number 1, Philip Seymour Hoffman is a great villain. And I think it's the first one in the series where it's J.J. Abrams who directed it. Everybody knows J.J. Abrams. But he really kind of added a human element, which I thought was really cool. Like the first Mission Impossible, it's very Brian De Palma, very cold and clinical, which is cool. I love it. And then part 2 is the only one that I'm kind of hit and miss on.
Was that John Woo?
Yeah, who I love John Woo, but the second one is is probably the weakest. It's definitely
I think it's the weakest one in my opinion. Yeah.
But the third one, I thought it was kind of like a course correction from the second one. It added a human element. It actually made Ethan Hunt feel like a person. You know what I mean? Not just a machine. And it had a really interesting story. That it had great stunts, like they all do, and a really great villain. So it's not quite as like over the top as the ones that came after it. Not that I have anything against the over the top. I love the over the top stuff. But I think part 3 is like the perfect middle point between like the insane over the top stuff that came later, which I love, and like the precision of the first one. So I thought I think it's like kind of the sweet spot for me. It's like my favorite one, even though I don't think anybody else I know is their favorite one. But for me, it's the really special one in the series. So I love that series. Love part 3.
Cool. Well, you're in luck because that's also my number 6.
Nice.
So I have I have the trilogy set when the first 3 came out. I own all of them too, but obviously number 3 is the one that we're showcasing here because that's the one that came out. And That was the one that came out in 2006.
Yeah.
So yeah, I give it the same as me. So number 6. I don't know if I say it's my favorite one. I haven't really thought about it. There's 6 of them, 5 of them, 6 of them. I don't know. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about it. I definitely like it better than the first one and the second one, but some of the ones that came after that one were really, really good too. And I really like the last one a lot also.
Yeah.
I thought the last one was really, really good. So I don't know. I haven't rated them all. I have to really think about it, but they're all good. Like I said, even 2 is the weakest one. I still like it. I just don't love it, but I still, not as much as the other ones. So as a standalone movie, it's still really good. But obviously if you're going to rate 6 of them, that won't be at the bottom for me. But but this one would definitely be more towards the top end, definitely in the top 3 probably for me. So, but yeah, it's my number 6 also. So cool, good choice.
Yeah, with 2, I always, whenever I watch it, I'm like, this is really good. What's wrong with me? Like for the first while, and then then at some point I'm like, oh yeah, because it gets kind of slow and the villain's kind of lame. Yeah, but then it gets good again at the end, so it's all good.
yeah, I still like it. It's just not as good as the other ones is all. Right. So. Well, cool. Well, that was our, the bottom half of our 2006. We will be doing a second half, of course, so definitely be looking out for that. As always, if you like the channel, we do ask that you like and subscribe, and of course, hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of the updates. Like I said, we try to upload videos about 2 to 3 times a week, so definitely be looking out for those. And we'll see you guys again real soon. We thank you for watching and hope you have a great day. Bye.
Thanks.